Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Thanks for joining me. Today I get to share with you a brand new stamp set over at the Simon shop. This one here is called My Zombie Boo, and it's from Simon and CC Design. They collaborated together to create this stamp set, so I'm going to create two cards with it. As I stamp both of my images, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the brand new release. It's STAMPtember time, and this year it's super special because STAMPtember turns 10 this year, 10th anniversary, which is great. So that means great items in this release. If you want to check it out, I'll leave a link to the Simon blog down below. There's lots of inspiration, and I'll leave a link to the Simon shop in case you want to check out the brand new release. So after my images are stamped, I stamped with VersaFine Onyx Black ink. The ink stays sticky, and so that's what we want because we're going to go over our images with clear embossing powder. I just stamped two of the images. One of them is like a zombie apocalypse volunteer badge and then the other one is a skull with a bird. And so we're going to go ahead and melt the embossing powder on our images, and then we're going to color them in. To color them in, I'm just doing basic coloring only because the images are pretty on the smaller side, and honestly I wasn't sure what color to color my zombie hand. I thought, well, what color are zombie hands? Are they purple? I just went with green. I thought that went with the Halloween theme, so I'm just using two different shades. And then for my shovel handles, I'm using two different shades with my e-markers here. And then for my shovel top, I'm using a C1. And then also for my skull, I'm going to add a little bit of shading with my C1. And then that's all the coloring we're going to do. Okay, I'm going to take a circle die and cut out my zombie badge. It actually says Zombie Rescue Volunteer. I'm going to center it, cut that out, and then I'll fussy cut out my skull with the bird. Okay, there's my little images. And I noticed my zombie hand, I went outside the line with my green marker. So I'm going to take a white gel pen and just kind of clean it up a little bit. And then we're going to set this aside, and then we're going to stamp our sentiment. Okay, I'm going to bring back in my Misty and a piece of black cardstock. We'll place this in here, and then I'm going to take the sentiment that says Boo, and then I'm also going to take the sentiment that says Happy Halloween. We're going to stamp both of these on the black cardstock. I did treat my paper with my anti-static powder tool to help with the static from the embossing powder. And then I am going to go over my images with my white embossing powder. And then I went ahead and melted it. Once I did that, I did block off both of my sentiments and trim them down. So they're both small rectangles. But there they are. Boo and Happy Halloween. Okay, for my background, I'm going to take a piece of white cardstock and then a Hero Arts rounded corner infinity die and cut out a panel. And then I'm also going to take some Lawn Fawn, this is Pixie Dust. It's a real pretty glittery white cardstock. I'm going to cut a circle with a piece of this, and then I'm going to take a smaller circle die and cut out another circle in the center. This way I have a frame and then the circle center, and we're going to use both the frame and the circle center. I also cut out a piece of vellum using that same circle die. I'm going to go ahead and mat the inside circle with the glitter cardstock on my green vellum. Now if you don't have a colored vellum, I've had this in my stash for quite a long time, but if you don't have green vellum, you could use your oxide inks to color in your vellum. Now for my background, I wanted to create a little bit of texture, so I'm using a embossing folder from Tim Holtz and Sizzix. It's a texture fade, and I'm not sure what the name of this is. But if I find it, I'll link it down below. Maybe it's called Flourish. But it's really pretty. And I associate Halloween kind of with purples and blacks and grays and velvets and just real rich colors. It just reminds me of Halloween. So starting off with my oxide ink, I have Dusty Concord here. I'm going around my entire panel, just doing a little shading, intensifying the color along the edges, and then just going around the edges, I'm bringing in some Hickory Smoke Distress Oxide ink, and I think that creates a real pretty background. Now for this panel, I'm shading first with my Hickory Smoke, and then I'll do a little shading around the edges with my Dusty Concord. And then I think that creates a real fun background. Okay, once we have this done, I'm going to go ahead and take my vellum. I had cut out a 1.5 inch strip of the purple vellum. And again, if you don't have color vellum, use your oxide inks, guys, or even your distress inks to color your vellum. But I'm going to go ahead and line that up in the center of my panel, and then using my tape runner, I'm going to adhere my zombie rescue badge. And I thought I needed just something else, so I'm going to bring in some black and white stripe paper. I'm going to cut out about a 3/4 inch strip, and then I'm also going to do a 1 1/4 inch strip for my other card while I'm at it. But this 3/4 inch strip, I'm going to tape directly on my vellum right down the center, so a little bit of purple vellum's peeking out from the left and right. Add a little bit of tape and secure that, and then I'm going to clean up this piece just a little bit. I'm going to line it up on my background panel. We're going to flip it over and just trim off any excess that's hanging over. And then I want to pop this piece up. So my 3/4 inch 3M foam tape will fit perfectly behind that black and white stripe paper. I added a strip to it, and then this is going to go directly in the center of our panel. Lovely. Okay, the black and white stripes kind of remind me of witches tights or leggings or witches socks. Okay, we're going to adhere this to our card base, which is a standard A2 size card base. I'm going to go ahead and add some foam tape to the left and right side of my Zombie Rescue Volunteer badge here. And then this way I can just place it right over my vellum piece. Everything's nice and flush. And then I'm going to take my glittery circle frame. We're going to add some glue behind this and place that over our badge for a little added sparkle. And I think that looks great. We're going to set that aside and work on our next card. For our next card, I'm going to adhere my stripe paper to my embossed purple paper here. I'm leaving maybe about a 1/2 inch showing, and then I'll flip this over and I'm going to add some tape behind here, and we're going to directly adhere that to the right of my card base. And this is another A2 size card base. Lovely. Okay, we're going to go ahead and kind of figure out where we're going to put our green vellum piece, but I am going to add a little bit of dimension to it by adding some foam tape. And then we're going to go ahead and add a piece of tape behind our boo sentiment. And then we're going to add a couple pieces of dimensional adhesive behind our skull and our birds. And then that's going to go sitting on top of my boo. I think just purples and stripes and even oranges go really good together for Halloween. Okay, I have the happy Halloween sentiment, and I thought we'd put that right underneath our zombie badge. I think it worked perfect under there. Now, just for a few bells and whistles, I'm going to bring in some Nuvo gems. We're going to add a few on each one of our panels. I'm just going to use my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to secure them down. And then last but not least, I'm going to bring in some Nuvo Jewel Drops in Morning Dew. It's like a real thick glossy accent, so it's going to dry clear. And I'm going to go over my skull, and then I'm going to go over both of my shovel toppers. And then that completes my card for today, guys. 2 cards, actually. I encourage you to check out the brand new STAMPtember Release over at the Simon shop and over on the Simon blog. Like I said, there's lots of inspiration on all the brand new products that's out there. Thanks so much for stopping by, guys. I wish you a fantastic day. I hope you enjoyed my projects today. If you do, let me know. And I'm I'm not usually typically don't do scary kind of Halloween cards, so these are kind of semi-scary. But let me know what you think. Have a great day, guys. We will see you again real soon. Bye-bye.